One of the coolest uses for Envy is adding textures to creature vocals. So here's a line which obviously needs to be turned into a bloodthirsty zombie.
I must eat brains.
So first thing we'll do is analyse the line of dialogue, and I think we should probably drop its pitch a few semitones, about 6.
I must eat brains.
Well, let's put it in smooth mode to keep the length the same.
I must eat brains.
Great. Let's render that. Okay, let's turn off the pitch, turn on the other modules, and analyze it once again. So here is that envelope applied to flat pink noise.
I must eat.
That's right. You can actually hear it start to talk. So what if we were instead to apply that to something more appropriate, like a file of random leopard snarls? Okay, let's hear our line again.
I must eat brains.
And the leopard. Wow. And how about if we select the whole file and get some random variations too? Ooh, that one's nice. But I think we're just going to use the first one. And mixed with the human voice.
I must eat brains.
As a pitch shifting tool, Envy has some advantages over your usual plugins.
You will crush them.
In that we have designed the pitch algorithms from the ground up, targeting simple signals like dialogue or isolated effects rather than complete mixes. But then we've also added the ability to pitch bend, and to do so using hand-drawn shapes.
You will crush them. You will crush them.
You can actually draw intonation onto a line in a much more natural way than just pitching a whole word.
You sat on the bus. 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 You sat on the bus.
Get off the bus. So here's a good example of using Envy to add scale and size to crowd recordings. So we have some loop group crowds here that we've recorded.
Envy, envy, envy.
Now we have beefed them up with some doubling and so on, but what we need is that dense big crowd layer. Some of these perhaps? I think those can work. Now before we analyze it, we're going to turn off the spectral and we're going to turn on the pitch envelope, and we're going to set it to scan from source in the hope that the pitch shape is going to be useful to us. And that's a pretty extreme result, so first thing we're going to do is reduce the range of that, maybe down to about 10%. We're just going to change our view range so we can see what we're doing. Switch into smooth mode, so our length is fixed. We're going to soften the release, the attack, and the smoothing as well, so that our distant chant is a bit softer and not quite so perfectly fitted to the dry one. And here we go. Yeah, wow, that really does work. But it does still feel like we're missing that kind of mid-distance layer. Yeah, that might work as a shorter, beefier element to this crowd mix. So let's shorten the release and the attack times. We don't want too much overhang. Okay, let's add that to the mix and see how far we've come.
Envy, envy, envy,
Well, that works for me. So you see, you can very quickly create different layers, perspectives, or surround channels from a single close recording.